Hello and welcome to this special In the Field, by which I mean in the bar, and also in the studio version of the Madaxeman podcast, in which myself and a couple of the regulars and some special guests discuss how the first ADLG competition of the new year that we've all attended in Alicante in Spain. Yes, we've gone abroad to play toy soldiers and do stuff that you do in Spain as well. How that's gone. So there's all sorts of stuff on the army list. There's some live things. There's a lot of it actually been recorded in bars, so apologies for the background noise, but that's what you get if you're doing this stuff live. So sit back, pin back your ears, and enjoy our first ever Spanish live podcast.
This means war.
Well, look, we're back. We're back and we're about to go, which is a bit weird.
We're going somewhere.
We're going somewhere. Yes, we've got a truncated crew at the moment with Dave and Simon here. Peter was supposed to join us, but I think he's having a panic because he's having to pack to go abroad, which he hasn't done in 2 years, and it's kind of freaking him out. So I think he's spending like 2 days packing or something like that, and running around. But we are all off to, and actually, Simon, this is a quiz for you. If we start singing the song, "We're off to sunny, sunny Spain," what's the next line, Mr. Australian person with no knowledge of 1970s British music?
That's quite weird, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it? That's kind of odd. So you've got no memory of Bette Lynch at Coronation Street going on a special or anything like that. So no, this is an education for you as well. This is the Aviva España. So we're off to sunny, sunny Spain. Aviva España. And this was basically the soundtrack to British package tours to Spain from the 70s. When people started going abroad for sun. So but you know nothing of this, and
No.
probably most people under Wargamers age know nothing of this either, but it's true. We are going to Alicante, which some of you went to pre-COVID.
Yep.
And the airport burnt down. Is that right?
Yeah, so
Same place?
So Dave and I and a couple others went to Alicante in January 2020. So on the way out there was a storm, so the airport got shut down, and the main control tower was damaged. Then there was a fire. Then we had to go to Murcia to get back, and that sort of just kicked off 2020, and the rest of the year just didn't get any better.
And then it got worse from then. No.
And Dave, I think you went back to Alicante, or was it Pamplona just as COVID arrived in the U?
I went to Pamplona in March of 2020, where the competition got called off on the Saturday. Sunday was cancelled, and everybody fled for the airports.
Fled home. God.
It felt like Dunkirk and running away from like the last flight out of Spain.
But with different dice or something like that. Well, I think the last time I went to Alicante was something to do with submarines, because the Spanish submarine maker Navantia have got their main submarine making factory. I'm sure there's probably a technical term for it, shipyard possibly, or submarine yard up the coast there. So I had a great time there, but it's a lovely place, and there's a castle on the hill, and we're all going to play toy soldiers at an international ADLG competition that's got a ludicrous number of people. I think it started with 30, and then it's ended up, about 40 something in the end?
45, I think.
It was going to be 50, but then the Italians can't get out of the country. But we've got Spanish, French, Belgians, us, Irish.
44
people, which is bonkers. And there's a theme as well, isn't it? Because what we want to do now, we're going to do a 3-part podcast, or possibly more. So we're going to do some recordings when we're there. So this is 2 days before, when we're all planning planning how badly we're going to try and perform, having not played or travelled for ages. And then we're going to do a wrap up, and it will all be part of this one podcast. So what we want to do now is have a quick look at the list that we're taking, because amongst ourselves we can actually safely talk about them now, because this podcast won't be released until after the event, can't it? And by the time we even if we play each other in later rounds, that will be round 3 or 4 or something. So all our lists will have been seen. There's going to be no surprises by then. But so Simon, what are you taking? What's the theory and what's the plan? Is there a painting theory behind it? It's Samurai, the new. Is this a decision after Dave nearly lost to it at Warfare? And it nearly won, or is this
No, this was a decision on I took my Samurai for the first time to the Worlds in 2019, which feels so long ago.
100 years ago, yeah.
And to say they got stomped is an understatement. I think I spent half the competition trying to crawl my way out of the naughty room. So
I remember that. Yeah, there was a room for the bottom few tables that was sort of like dark and dingy and smelled a bit, or possibly that was some of the fog players there. I don't know. Could well be.
We'll leave that one as it is.
We'll leave that one out. Yeah.
So I wanted to bring something different, and in this period being a feudal period where you got knights and everything else, I've done knights to death, and so I was looking through the collection on what hasn't come out on the table, and I had the hankering to bring the samurai. And since it made some of the changes where you no longer have to have the compulsory 4 mediocre medium spearmen, and they've allowed you to have a couple of light horse and light foot, they've just tweaked the army from being very difficult to be mildly difficult. I thought they're pretty, they look really nice. I painted up a 25mm strategist, one of the samurai figures from Bad Squiddo Games. I painted up some of her generals to be a strategist. So, because you've got to have a 25mm strategist. Based on our theory on what did I paint up during lockdowns, which come out on the table, I thought to bring the samurai. They're going to be pretty, and they've got lots of bow and swordsmen, so very easy.
And then looking at the list, I guess this is the second question for all of us, really. Looking at the list of 45 armies that have come out, how do you feel about that now? Is it because there looks like there's a few samurai there as well. Other people have had the idea. There's 5
samurai.
5 I'm told out 45, which is great.
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite interesting. With the combinations of people that have brought, it's not going to be as horrifying as I was expecting it. So I was envisaging wall-to-wall, full badge knights, 12 elite knights, not much else. But you've got combinations of Jurchen Chin, samurai, feudal French, Gordon with his Prussians, which are always good fun. There's some Tuaregs.
There's a lot of Chinese ones, Texacala. Given we've just come off Warfare, which was a feudal period, and that was like, well, certainly my experience was wall-to-wall knights plus spears plus some other bits. This is a really, really mixed bag, isn't it? I guess it's a slightly different time period, but that's, so are you feeling happier about this? Were you expecting just plain knights, or is it?
I'm feeling happier about it because there are lots of combinations of things I can play against that I won't get completely stomped against. So there's lots of, I'm looking, it'd be nice in some ways to annoy Inyaki's Tuareg. Yeah. I know there's going to be lots of mediocre camels. He'll roll nothing but 6s. I'll roll nothing but 1s. But that's
they're elite camels.
Yeah,
but actually, there's a lot of historical opponents there as well, isn't there, with the urchins and all sorts of things. So
I think it'll be it's a nice split, a nice spread of armies. There's not a consistent single choice. There's a few feudal French and Byzantines and all that, but there's lots of options out there. So
and also they sound cooler when you're looking at them written out from the French version of the list, don't you? The old Bizantino di Nicoforo, or the Espagnol Feudal, the Vikingos. Vikingos.
Mauricio, it just sounds really cool. It sounds like Morris down the pub.
Gaznavida.
The hell is Birmino 183?
Birmano 183. I don't know.
That's feudal German.
Yeah, everything's got. If you don't understand what it is, it's got to be feudal German, I'm sure. Yeah. Cruzados, which is all good. Okay, so that's an interesting one. So Dave, what have you taken? Where's yours on this list? Because you were dithering for a while.
I'm taking the only feudal Spanish army.
You're taking feudal Spanish to Spain.
And I am the only Spanish army.
You're the only feudal Spanish army. Oh my God, 45.
I was the only feudal Spanish army at Warfare as well.
Wow, that's bonkers, isn't it? So there's In fact, there are because if you go to, well, when we go to Greece, all of them try and take some sort of army that fought in Greece, doesn't it? It's all the Byzantines, all the other different bits and pieces. But obviously that loyalty to the home country doesn't really come through in Spain at all. They're all like, sod it, let's just pick something interesting that we've just painted up.
And considering I think it's my favourite army, it's a bit, I find it completely strange.
Yeah, no, that's kind of weird.
Dave Allen played the other day using my feudal Spanish list and said it and declared it rubbish.
Right. Is that the one? Is this pretty much the same list you won Warfare with?
It is exactly the same list.
Exactly the same one. So you're going for 10 games in a row. And did you win all 5 at Warfare?
One was a mutual destruction.
One was your mutuals. Okay, so 5 enemy beating armies, which is good. So
a mutual destruction counts in my books because you break both
I know
armies.
it counts in your book because you've had 5 of them in Pamplona one year.
Yes, that's true actually.
After I had
you placed. Yeah, I think you almost placed or something.
But I will freely admit that I got a bit lucky in parts. But then, if you're going to win a competition, you've got to get bloody lucky. I would say the one thing don't tell the samurai, do not attack me in the mountains. No,
that didn't work in that last game in Warfare for anyone, did it?
If anybody attacks me in the mountains, I will tell you when we come back, and I will be
Happy
very
days.
happy about that.
So what here are you worried about? Because it's quite a different mix to the feudal knighty thing from Warfare, isn't it? Where you were.
This is very, very different from Warfare. I think the one I'm less worried about Ghaznavid now than I used to be. Ghaznavid used to scare the living daylights out of me.
Yep.
I am concerned. I mean, Thomas is no slouch, is he? Thomas Mastriani, or what his name?
No, exactly. Yep.
He's no slouch, but he's number 3 in top ranking player in the competition. And this Byzantine of Constantine is really quite good.
That's one that's a bit knighty though, isn't it? I think
it's lots of good cavalry with lots of knights.
Okay.
I mean, the knights are only average, but he's got the half and half cavalry bow impact.
Shooty malarkey thing. Okay.
But then he's going to be crap in terrain, so just slap down a load of terrain, and we should be able to sort him out. Yurchin Chin, I don't see the fascination, but I'll probably come a cropper in my first game.
Right, is that your first opponent?
My first component is somebody he's got Pablo Suarez, I think it is. He's got Yurchin Chin.
Okay.
And I really don't know what's going to happen with that, because Yurchin Chin seems to be nowhere near as good as it used to be. But again,
someone's still got it. Yeah.
I can't see the fascination, but there you go.
Well, maybe it's just what you've got, really, isn't it? Okay.
But yeah, the feudal Spanish is just 6 knights screaming down the centre of the table, supported by crossbowmen. Good terrain troops. It's a good mixed army. It's the old flick knife Spanish Swiss Army knife. It's got a bit of everything, which it seems to be the best way I play.
Yeah. And when's because if you only had 1 mutual destruction, you won 4 at Warfare, then, and you've taken it down the club a few times. When's the last time you lost with it?
Oh God, blimey.
Just putting that out there as a question.
It was against you, Tim.
It might have been. Oh, yes,
it was against your army that you're taking.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Was that a lead in to your army list?
It's almost like you've listened to this before, Dave, hasn't it? It's remarkable. With me waving at the screen at you. Come on, it's like well remembered. Obviously, you try to blank.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how your army does, actually, Tim. I mean, that's not just a plug, because especially your first game, this is like, the all-conquering Ghaznavids.
Yeah, the super army of the time. So yeah, I've got the early Crusaders, but not the but a very, very narrow thing. There's a list called the People's Crusade, which is basically a bucketful of levy and aggressive peasants and things like that. They're all completely mad for it, and it fills the table. I think there's 4 knights. The army list, if you try and work through the army list, is brilliant, because you're only allowed about 4 or 5 different troop types, and you basically have to take all of them in order to get to 200 points. There just isn't a way of, it's just entirely about command structure, really. There's no choice about what troops you get if you're going to do it. But it comes in at about 38 units, which I suspect the Ghaznavids will be lucky to get to 22.
You might actually be double the number of units.
It's possible. They could be a 19 if they're a tooled up Gastonvik, so I could have twice as many. So there's clearly a kind of a attack the flanks and catch people out. But it will be interesting to see how much it is, how much it's a one trick army, in that if people can work it out. But I must admit, looking at this thing and having played you in its only ever outing, where I think we just didn't fight the knights until the last possible minute, and then just flooded the rest of the table and chewed up all the support troops, which was kind of funny. That does work quite well against proper feudal armies with a rapier point of a chunk of knights. But I think looking at some of these like Vikings is going to be tricky. Unless they're all spear, Russ will be fine because everything is impetuous. I can just go in and get lucky and see what happens. And I don't know how it would do against the big cavalry armies either, really. If you shoot, I could be in a lot of problems, but there's not, it's whether anyone can do it. And it's a load of figures that I had from DBM days when you needed, or some of the armies allowed you to have enormous numbers of horde just to bulk up the army. And you had bases of 6, 7, 8 peasants. And I think some of the medieval armies, I had 15 bases of 5 or 6 peasants, or 6 or 7 peasants, that in DBM just kind of sat at the back of the table and did nothing. Now, at least AGLG has kind of swept that observer nonsense away, but I've rebased them all up and tarted them all up and given them crosses and flags and religious icons and stuff like that. So it is actually a properly pulled together People's Crusade army with lots of religious iconography, including I think for Fulham and Manchester United fans of a certain era, there's even a Jonathan Greening banner, because he was a midfielder who did play for United and played for Fulham for a while, who the chant for him on the terraces was he died for our sins, he died for our sins. Jonathan Greening, he died for our sins, because he did have sort of straggly hair and the Jesus-like beard sort of thing. So he's one of the icons somewhere in one of the 20 odd bases of horde as well coming forward. So it's kind of the proper thing. And I think there's something in it. It'll be a laugh anyway. But after I think, unlike you, Dave, I got a little bit probably falsely jaded with playing the Hungarians at Warfare, because I had knights and spearmen, and other people had knights and spearmen and something else that was probably better than mine. But it just felt that the Hungarians, which I spent a lot of time painting in lockdown, were a bit undercooked. Although I'm writing up the reports at the moment, and I won 2, and I had 2 mutual destructions, both of which I probably didn't have the rub of the green in. And then the last game I got run over by a better design list. But actually, that's like a wafer away from getting 4 wins, really. So maybe I'm doing myself and doing the Hungarians a bit down, but I just didn't want to use them again and dithering around different other stuff. It was a chance just thinking, oh, sod it, I have painted these up. Spain's going to be fun. We're going to be flying out on Squeezy Jet on Friday afternoon. We're going to be getting there probably getting to the hotel about 10 o'clock, half 10 or something.
I think 1 o'clock is what you're saying.
Yeah, it could well be something like that, wouldn't it? I think technically we land at 9, but it's EasyJet, so who knows? And it would just be a test to see how open Spain is to a bunch of Brits sat there when we meet Peter and Dave and Gordon over there, who are all traveling independently, to kind of find if we could all get into a bar and still be there when the competition starts the following day. Is it a normal start? Is it like a normal hour start? Anybody get any ideas on Saturday? Is there anything? I'm not entirely sure, because Italy sometimes starts late, but I'm not sure about Spain.
I'm trying to find it in the forum, but
yeah, it's somewhere.
No,
look, we've got 2 days to work out this small detail stuff.
Knowing what time we start might be important.
Yep.
I think.
Okay, so the competition starts 8 a.m. to 8:30 on Saturday. Reception with coffee. Excellent. First round kickoff 8:30 in the morning, which is probably why the Italians pulled out, because they can't do that early.
That's tricky. Does this mean there's an inordinately long lunch break that we've got?
2.5 hours for lunch.
2.5 hours for lunch. Okay, then good. And is lunch after the first game?
Second game.
Second game. All right. So we got 2 games in the morning to
Lunch is
to
from
sober
2
up.
o'clock till 4:30, and then round 3 is 4:30 to 7 o'clock.
And
We're all
then
going
we
to
go to dinner.
smashed to round 3.
Yeah. and then we get and then we go straight out for a meal or something after that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow. That's going to
What
be
could,
quite
possibly,
a
what could possibly go wrong for our rankings?
that's going to be quite an interesting schedule, isn't it? Really. Okay. So looking at this list, then, I guess, Reino di Sicilia, Rafa, he's the second highest seed. That's almost the same army as yours, Dave, isn't it? Sicilian Kingdom.
Right.
That's pretty simple. Hubert's there with Vikingos. Interesting one. I've tried to use Vikings, but struggle to make it interesting. There's
His night army from Warfare, I see, because I thrashed that.
Oh, right. Okay, didn't like that one. There's a feudal French there in 5th place. Feudal German, that's Peter, who's bizarrely ranked 3rd. None of us understand that. You with feudal Spanish, a Gazneved, feudal Russ. Or no, Russ feudal would be Russian feudal, won't it?
Yep.
I guess not Russ, actually. That's something different. Reinos de Taifas. Oh, that's the Spanish one. The Taifa Kingdoms by
good.
Thierry Baylac, but he sounds French, doesn't he?
Yeah, Thierry, yeah.
Okay, so the only people taking Spanish armies are people invading Spain then, and then it goes down to Iñaki with his newly purchased Tuaregs or newly rebased Tuaregs. Well, it looks like it's going to be interesting, doesn't it? I guess.
Really mixed up list. There's nothing. I mean, there seems to be more samurai than anything else. 3, yeah. I mean, you say 5 samurai, 3.
I can see 5 Ghaznavids as well, but that's not too unusual. That was always a classic.
I think you're going to. I'm really looking forward to the result of your first game against the Ghaznavids. I think your stupid Levy impetuous are going to kill the elephants. They're just going to pincushion the elephants, and you're going to beat that army. I can see it.
I think it's tricky because I think the risk is if and it'll be quite funny releasing this and talking about this in a few minutes more on this podcast and in a couple of days in us, because I think if the cavalry underestimate it and just charge in,
yes,
that's when it gets difficult. But if they take it carefully and try and do a bit of damage with shooting before charging in, then my troops just become utterly useless as well. Once they've taken any hits at all, they suffer quite a bit of damage. So it will be intriguing to see how that army's put together and to see, I could be there at the end of the weekend with 5 crushing defeats, unless I come up and play you again, really, Dave, and some of those armies at the top. It'll be fascinating. But putting such a big army on table, it's a good job that it's a 15mm competition. Otherwise, we'd need hold baggage. And then and that's on EasyJet. That's mortgaging a house territory, I think. Really,
I think it will be quite funny when you deploy your first command. So Iñaki will put his first command down of 5 elements. You put down 15.
It could be something like that, could it?
Puts his next command down of 8 figures, thinking, okay. And you put down another 15. And he's thinking, well, your army already doubles my army.
But it's a difficult one. If I put down one of my 2, micro commands, they're both 11 each, which is quite fun. And then 16 comes in at the end, just to push it up to 38. And then the best bit is, well, one of the best bits is that I've got a point spare, which I wasn't able to spend because the list is so restrictive. I could only get to 199. So I don't know how many other people there will not have spent all their points, but so I don't know if that extra point counts in some way to give me extra kudos, or again in 2 days' time I'll just be crying into my Spanish beer after suffering all of these defeats. But I think that probably wraps up our pre-flight or possibly pre-airport mini clip. So we will take a break now, and then the next segment you hear will be possibly us having a beer at Gatwick, and with noises in the background. So this is the best audio quality you're going to get for about another hour. So sit back and listen to the next section of the podcast.
Con los 4 batallones que Madrid van
Right, well, we're here in a bar now in Alicante. We've got Spanish TV going on in the background, which is great. Hopefully that's not interfering too much with the audio. And we've got an extended podcast crew. And I think...
Hey, there's the wine.
That's the sound of... Here we go, here's the sound of red wine being poured. Oh, nice.
Very good.
Red wine going in. That's all excellent. First one. Go on. Glug, 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 glug. Dos tintos. Hey, gracias.
¿La dejo?
Perfect.
Santé.
Okay.
Hey, good. But we're a day into this now, and we're in the bar. But at the end of the day, wine is still nice. That's reassuring to know. Thanks, Dave. So we got 5 people. We'll do a quick round robin to talk about how, in snapshot, how your game's gone. So, Dave, you start by boring us for England. Tell us how your fantastic game with your Spaniards has gone.
Well, the world-beating Spaniards from Warfare lost their first game against a Urchin Chin army, which I had no idea of, completely screwed up. Should never have given him the choice of the terrain. And never played a Urchin Chin army, so that was interesting. Got massacred by them, but good players, good Spanish player.
Oh, look at these beers.
Wow. I like this glass.
Oh, these are German beers, sorry. Just had 2 large beers arrive and a third one on its way. That's good.
Then I played a guy who was reasonably new with a Ghaznavid army, which I was kind of expecting, because we said in the podcast the other 6 Ghaznavids. Beat that, but could have lost it. And then the last game was an absolute new guy who he could have beaten me as well. So it's not been issues. But I've got 2 wins and a loss. So.
2 wins and a loss. Results.
Submarining again.
Gracias. Beers are really... Sorry, more beers.
Watch the phone.
Right, we'll be good. We'll be good on the phone.
It's waterproof. Wine-proof.
Ice cold beer in a very wet, ice cold country. Right. So all the way from Northern England and the West Country and Ireland all in one. We got Mr. Ainsley as a special guest on this podcast. So Richard, we don't even know what army you were using because you weren't in the earlier one because we didn't know that we were going to necessarily bump into you. But what have you got and how's it gone?
Using Burmese, 6 elite elephants, 2 of them generals. Played a Kogoro Korean this morning, won in 1 hour 5 minutes, which was absolutely brilliant. Helped by his flank march of all his heavy cavalry impact not coming on, so I only had to kill 18 units on table, so I only had to get 18. So 1 hour and 5 minutes must be a record. My reward was to get Rafa in the second round. That's always a good reward with his very, very well designed, what used to be Sicilian Norman with medium knights and his usual 3 ordinary generals, but his ordinary generals always seem to throw 6s and never have a pit problem at all. Never die. I'd killed 19 of his 21-man army, and he was starting to get a little cross when he finally got me.
Oh, right.
Helped by some superb silly.
Okay.
And then in the last game, I played a Crusader, but not the People's Crusade that other people are using, just the standard Crusader, and we had a wonderful, loads of fun, mutual destruction in the same bound. What can be wrong with it?
So your elephants and his knights, he was cutting up the stuff in the middle, but
yes.
you were cutting up the knights.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Good stuff. That's been cool. Right, Simon, what's been going on? Because you're the dark horse when it comes to stuff abroad, aren't you, really?
Yeah, I've either done spectacularly well or held up the entire competition from the bottom, just being the strongest man.
One of the 2.
Notice the samurai have redeemed themselves after their debacle at the Worlds. So 2 big wins. Mm-hmm. Then I met Rafa this afternoon.
You met Rafa.
I met Rafa and did lose the army, but I took 17 of his army out. And his generals, like yours, ordinary generals, 6'5", 6'5", 6. They were just everywhere. So, but his Almogavars did what, in true Spanish style. They walked up, they charged, they contacted, they killed me, and just caused carnage. It was truly beautiful.
Okay.
But managed to chase off his heavy swordsman crossbowmen. Chased 4 of them off, pretty much halfway across the table. They were running away from my samurai and bow swordsman, and we had knights going side sideways, rear combat, flank combat, and it was brilliant. So, and the side chat was spectacular. It charged and disintegrated on contact and did nothing.
Good. Is that in all 3 games?
All 3 games.
Fantastic. That's perfect.
It paid for itself, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Mr. Allen, we've got the legendary Mr. Allen here.
Feudal French.
Feudal French.
With only a dozen to lead medium knights.
A dozen? So what's your plan with that then, Dave?
Roll lots of dice.
Fine, okay. That's
It
good.
works.
Yep.
So first game against Feudal German, and he very, very kindly came out of the terrain.
Oh,
And the pikes got beaten up, the archers got beaten up, his polearm got beaten up. It was
Horrible.
It was very knight on foot kind of thing. Second game was against Jean-Louis Mastrio.
yes, I know him well. Yep. Yep.
And his samurai, all shooting all the elite samurai, which very sensibly hid in the terrain. I managed to get his camp and not much else, but
Right.
a winning edge of a draw there.
Okay. Right.
And then another samurai army, but this time for the third game against Orlando with lots of heavy foot polearms.
Wow, that's because you don't see many polearms yet, do you? I've not
I'll
seen
tell you why you don't see
Right.
them.
Okay. All right.
Because 5 knights charge into a line of samurai polearms, and if you don't beat them on the first round,
Yeah.
they're cutting you up.
Yeah, you're in a world of pain.
Yeah.
You mean heavy swordsman, 2-hand chopper?
Oh, heavy swordsman, 2-handed weapons.
Yes.
That was it.
The-
Not
Yeah, they're not.
Katana,
Yeah, they're not
polearms.
polearms. I was going to say they're not polearm. They're
Yeah, no, I'm thinking it's the later one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was 5s all the way along the line, which is good enough when you're 1 up.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's
It's all
nice.
good.
It's so tempting when you've got the samurai to try and use the heavy infantry to block the knights, but it just doesn't bloody work, does it?
No.
It's just not good. I've tried that myself.
It's one of those things where you have to brace for impact because it's either you either use your heavy foot to block the knights, or there's a gaping hole in the line because the medium swordsmen are not coming out of that terrain.
No.
So I used my 6 to annoy Ruffers, 6 knights, and they held it for quite a while.
But there to die slowly.
So
that was
Dave, you're
the-
2 and no, you're
2.5 now.
2.5. You 1, 2, drawn 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
Other
is what
Dave, you've 1 of
2
each.
wins, 1 defeat.
2 wins, 1 defeat. Richard, you're
1 of each.
1 of each.
Win
4 of
or
each.
loss.
So I'm 2 wins and a loss.
Right, and then I'm 1 of each as well because I managed to get with the People's Crusade, all 38 of them, managed to not quite lose to an unusual Ghaznavid in the first round that actually did the right thing and concentrated on one wing of my army, not necessarily through planning. I think I completely foxed him. He was just staring at the stuff going, what do I have to do? But I think he had a plan to deploy and it was the right one against my army, but you know, we took quite a lot of losses but didn't go down. Then I played another Ghaznavid army that unfortunately tried to spread across the table, and that didn't really work because that's there's a lot of overlaps going on, and the 2-day army that had in the middle kind of got screwed by
Yeah,
my
I imagine,
8
yeah.
other people who were the same
He
set.
runs with what, 21 elements maybe?
22, and I was
Okay,
at
so
38.
You weren't completely
Yeah.
double him, but
No,
you're pretty
exactly,
close.
yeah. So by the end of the second game, I lost 63 casualties and inflicted 43 and got a win and a draw out of that. And then I played Mr. Mastrio in the third game, who with the same samurai as you played, and he had a big block of samurai bowmen, ran them to the edge of the table in a piece of terrain, which is where I knew they would be. So I aimed my 8 impetuous medium foot at them, managed to get them all into contact in 1 bound, or well, 7 of them into contact in 1 bound without taking any shooting hits on them. Screened them with the light foot effectively, did that well, took some other hits, hit them cleanly, solid line, no overlaps either end. I blocked on both ends, general in the middle, embedded, and by the end of the game I had none of them left, and I killed 2 samurai. And it was like, it was just like, what was going on?
I'd just like to point out that's your own fault for taking quality over quantity.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Because the other person taking People's Crusade has gone for quantity over quality and has managed to get 40 units out of it to my 38.
Yeah.
So
When you think Inyaki's version 3 Gaznigan army was 19 elements.
Yeah.
Oh, they
Your
doubled
army
it.
would be exactly twice the size.
I doubled it, yeah. So 63 in the morning plus the. No, I'd lost. What did I say in the morning? 73. No, 63 in the morning. So I've now lost 101.
It's a good job there's more People's Crusade just coming down the road.
I've lost 101 and killed about 60.
So you've lost 5 times my army.
I've lost I've lost your army 5 times over, yeah, which is not bad, but luckily now we're having a beer and there's more people coming. Oh, Peter's just arrived.
Peter the Hermit.
Peter the Hermit's arrived. Peter, sit down. We'll order you a drink or.
You're on
Do you want wine?
mine.
Do you want wine or do you want
Yep. The glass is coming.
the glass? Yeah, brilliant, cool. So you can have a glass. We're straight in with the wine. It's excellent. Peter. Oh, God, Dave. God, yeah.
He only had
That's a
20
good first
units in that army.
Yeah, I know. And I only killed 16 of them. 4 of them were light foot. How would you do? It was nuts. Yeah. So Peter, we're podcasting at the moment. You've just walked in. You've properly topped up the wine straight in.
Look,
My God.
when you take on 40 unit armies, you deserve a big drink.
Ah, you fought the other people's crusade, right?
Yes.
So tell us about your day. Tell us about your 3 games and how it all went.
Well, for one, the Crusaders no more. My Teutonics told them they were going in the wrong direction and stomped all over them.
So they should have gone to the Baltic.
Yeah, it's that usual dichotomy. I'll rock up to a bar fight with medium foot impetuous, straight up to some knights who are elite, impact. Well, it kind of spoils their day somewhat, and they decide to run off home.
It didn't work for me when I
Full
did
badger.
it.
Full
Yeah,
badger.
full badger, full in,
Yeah.
full large, and not only that, it was a 40 unit army, which I managed to flank on both flanks. I managed to flank.
You enveloped it.
Yep, I enveloped,
That is impressive.
holding the centre with 1 light cavalry crossbow.
It's great and epic all over again.
So that was a fun one. The first game, David, player from Barcelona, fantastic, lovely guy to play against. It was a true sort of close battle. He had feudal English, I had feudal German. It was way too close to my liking. Right at the end, last roll, last turn, I managed to recover 3 of mine, and in the ensuing melee, in the movement, I took his camp, so therefore I'd won, but we had to go to the finish, and then he managed to kill 3 of my units, so all of a sudden I finished off, he killed 19 out of my 23, so if I hadn't recovered the other 3, it would have been mutual destruction. I was like, squeak. The other game against, was another feudal one, feudal French against feudal German, my feudal Germans, and that was a much closer game, and a lot edgier game. I managed, it was a winning draw, but we kind of ran out of time, and it was it was one that was very close and a lot of tight movements and everything else, trying to go
Okay,
around.
so you're on 2 wins in a draw then?
Yes.
By the sounds of it. Okay, so we're waiting now, whilst we have a drink, we're waiting for 2 things. We're waiting for it to get close enough to 9 o'clock for us to go for the team meal, and we're waiting for someone to send us the draw through on
I
email.
was just looking, no.
Dave's checking, nothing's come through. We're waiting for the draw for the excitement. So yeah, look, we'll press pause on the podcast recording and we'll just get back to drinking. And
Absolutely.
then again, I could just put the microphone close to the telly and you could listen to an interview on Spanish TV. And I have no idea what's going on. Yeah,
Looks like
done.
so.
All right, catch you soon.
Con los 4 batallones que Madrid van defender.
Well, look, we're in a bar again, which is unusual for us.
Kill surprise.
It's siesta time. It's 4 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, and the 5 of us are here, and we finished. And I think probably the best place to start is with the person who's lost most games. It should be you, Dave. Is it? You lost 2,
I've
I
lost
think.
2 out of 5.
You lost
3
2 out of
wins
5.
and 2 losses.
Yeah.
Lost the first game.
Well, we
which
talked
was-
about that yesterday.
Did we?
I think we did. It's
And
been a
then
long weekend.
I lost my final game against Simon, who's sitting next to me.
Well,
Which
we'll
was
come
just
back
like-
to that later.
Yeah.
Then.
Less
what-
said the best. I
Oh,
think.
here comes the wine. Excellent. More glasses.
There
Clink,
might be
clink.
sort of punches thrown if we're not careful.
Right.
No, I'm joking.
Joking. So what about the morning game? What keep
Morning game.
pasa,
What
as
what
we
was
say
this
in Spain?
morning?
That was a long time ago.
I've forgotten what I was doing this morning. Oh no, I played French feudal French army, and I won the initiative. I leapt down his throats. He put 4 knights in a plantation.
What, as an ambush?
Yes.
Wow.
With Lightfoot.
Yeah.
They came out.
Ta-da.
2 of my Lightfoot who went, ooh, who's hiding in the ambush? Oh shit.
It's 4 knights. Brilliant.
But the knights actually did roll shorts and didn't get out of the plantation. So my first Lightfoot was stood there going, fucking hell, they've stopped a millimetre away from me. Which was quite interesting. Then what was that? Then I managed to sort of slow that lot coming out by putting some light horse across and pinning them and just dogging him around. And then I must admit myself, I did really well with my crap command. He went forward, pinned his 4 knights, shifted across, got round the flanks, brought in 2 more knights, and I just hit it 4 knights with overlaps, and that was fantastic. I really thought I played that well, really. Even my opponent said you played that well, which is also good.
That's lovely, isn't it? And the night before, what talk me through the meal as well, because that's an important part.
Oh yeah, the meal. Steak was good, wasn't it?
Steak
was
good,
fantastic.
Argentinian restaurant.
Salad was a bit strange.
Well, it's salad, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think a lot of
really
us are like, we're not really. That's not what we're here for.
The sausages were good.
There was a lot of sausages.
There was a lot of sausages.
I think there's a photo of you and sausages on Facebook already.
Okay. I'm not on Facebook. So
no, that's probably a good thing, really. It's like
it's
a sausage-based incident went on.
You're having your desserts taken in.
Oh, and then we discovered Inyaki's local hooch.
Yeah, there was some weird kind of
anisey thing,
anisey
which
brandy.
I'm still trying to work. Apparently, that you can make it yourself with anise. And Inyaki was going on a bit how it's got to be the right type of anise, which is grown in Pamplona. And I'm like, isn't star anise from the Far East? It's Chinese, isn't it? And he's going, it's the best anise in the world. I think he's actually saying it's the star anise. But
wow. Well, maybe it's sort of.
I'm going to have a go.
There's a Vauban Fort sort of vibe to the star-based fortifications of Pamplona, isn't there? Maybe there's a tie-in or something.
It sounds like it actually ferments itself with the star anise and a coffee bean.
A coffee bean. Okay, right.
So, it wasn't that alcoholic, and it didn't take that much damage, really. So.
Yeah, well, I think it was quite late in the evening, so I'm not sure we knew. To be honest,
I wasn't that badly hungover this morning, just tired. But that's usual for a second day of competition.
I guess
that was all excellent. 5 great games.
Oh, here comes the wine, El Cotto. Here we go.
5 great games, all very nice opponents. No misses, no unpleasantness. Even the newbie, I thought he was going to beat me at one point.
That's good.
So I had to stop giving him a tutorial and knuckle down and win.
And actually do something.
Do something about it.
Actually, let some stuff.
That was my weekend. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. All right. Well, Peter, what about you? How was your day 2? Because we talked about day 1.
Day 2 started off with a delightful game with Dave Allen, lining up his knights, having them charge in and having them suddenly die in front of me. So it was quite a relaxing game in that aspect. It was suitably uncomplicated. One line hitting the other.
Good.
And going in and beat him quite handily fairly early on.
So it was just a night-on-night thing, or was
it was pretty much. It's just he didn't manage to get the rest of his stuff in, so I managed to get overlaps on both sides of him, which was always fun.
Right, okay. So
even though he shed load of knights, he just didn't get the rest of his stuff in. He just had them in waves, so also to be entertaining.
Brilliant.
That's my one pick.
Well,
cheers everybody.
Cheers.
It's a good sound.
The result of the win against Dave meant I was doing quite well, so I ended up in second position, which also meant a invitation to play Rafa.
Oh, the lovely Rafa game.
Yes.
Yep, always a highlight.
So, the pressure was on. Last game, top table. If I beat Rafa, it was like, let's get going, let the rush ahead. Yeah. And of course, being Rafa, all the way down to the wire. Basically, the last go, I broke, and I'd taken his camp, but I was 1 point off breaking him. So if I had won one more die roll, it would have been mutual destruction and a very different setup. But really enjoyable game.
That's a result.
Really good fun.
Fantastic.
Trying to stall his, 4 elite Almungavars and sacrifice a couple of sacrificial lambs of, crossbow and such like, while my knights got handy in it and took out some of his, but ultimately it was him charging into my heavy spear and then effectively 6-1 in them, which was
That resolves a few issues, doesn't it?
When that happened, it was like going, okay, and me rolling 6 times going down the first row of combat, which even Rafa was going, I'm so sorry. I'm like going, have you been talking to Iñaki?
Yes.
But no, really enjoyable. I mean, overall competition been fantastic. Really enjoyable games. Really good laugh.
It's great to just be back in playing different people, isn't it? Just people, really.
And they're all nicely chilled. Javier did a great job organising it, so really happy.
Well done, Javier.
And were you one of the late stayers last night, or did you? I can't remember which. No, we all.
went back with you.
Oh, we all were back at the same time.
So you remember that well then?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, I think we actually stopped for money at the cash point on the way home, which is probably not a clever thing.
Yeah, it was a really nice meal, and we had plenty of. We had 1 or 2 glasses of red wine, didn't we?
True. Yes,
at the table,
and the weird,
nice,
the weird what's it?
Very nice steak.
So, Richard, what about you then? Your world of elephants. What was your Sunday like?
First game this morning, I got to play the Central London War Games Club French exchange student with his Vikings, which was quite good. Hubert. And the best thing of all was the elephants and the elite Huskars kind of cancelled each other out, a kill a piece or whatever. And my medium swordsman, pure vanilla, no impact, no impetuous, nothing, proceeded to win the battle for me in a plantation against medium swordsman impetuous and medium swordsman two-handed weapon, which was quite nice.
That's wicked, because it was a surprisingly small army for a Viking. I kind of think of a Viking as a table filler, but that's 22, I think, 23, something like that. But real quality stuff there. Lots of support.
Quality.
Lots of support.
Support is good.
Overlap is better.
Yes, basically overlap is better. Elite is better.
Okay.
Support. And in the second game, I played Mr. Mastrio's senior with his samurai, tiny army, 20. He went, unlike my Antipodean friend who'll be along next, he went for all medium swordsman bow, all of them elite, and a very small amount of command and no dragon stroke expendable. 20 units, which is pretty tiny, really very tiny. His shooting was very good, but his shooting lost the game for him because it forced me to commit to combat, and once I got into combat, my numbers told. The elephant elite with the impact and furious charges into medium swords and certainly sorted things out to have another win, which was great, which meant I came 5th and managed to beat Mr. Bob by 1 point.
All 1 point.
It's Peter, I thought you were going to mention that, but you didn't. No, but luckily.
No. I thought I'd cue up Richard because he's got to get his victories where he can.
I suppose that's true. That's good.
Well, I think about Tim. We were watching the people's Civil War army running around. How did they go? Because I did see at some point you had nearly 22 separate units running around in different command structures trying to figure out what to do. That was impressive.
No, definitely.
Chaos theory.
It was utter chaos. This morning, because the previous 3 games yesterday, I'd kind of kept the knights back as a reserve and then never really got round to committing them. So this morning I was playing in a Murkian Byzantine with loads of double-armed cavalry. I think only 3 or 4 foot units, and so that was trickier. So I tried to put the knights up front, but I'd not practiced doing that at all, and I just completely lost control of them, and it went horribly wrong. I ended up with 2 knights going spontaneous and chasing after evading cavalry and in all directions, and then the game sort of broke down as I was trying to beat cavalry with impact. Are really hard to beat with foot, who are at factor 0 and have their own impact. So even if you stand and receive, you're still 2 factors down, which is tricky.
I think that's the game you and I looked at, Simon, and we looked at each other and said, we don't know what's going on. And we looked at both players who couldn't really tell us what was going on either.
There were troops evading left, right and centre. It was fantastic.
But so at some point, my on-table army had 22 different single elements or groups. It was separated into 22 things, which with a command total of 2 competent and 1 ordinary embedded, who I think had died by then, it was starting to be really hard for me to do anything with it.
It's not moving.
No. But I managed to hang on with that. I think I lost 35 or something and didn't lose. And I think he lost 17, 18 out of 22. So we just hung on for a draw with that one. And then that was probably still, from the night before. I'm not sure I was fully awake either. And then in the afternoon, I played our French exchange student as well with the same Vikings. The table got really narrowed, waterway, impassable, and the Vikings just raced down and covered the available space wall to wall with huscarls and medium foot impact and supported blade. So I just basically formed up with 2 lines, because my army was wide enough to do that twice, and just went into it in 2 waves and just took on whatever was in front of it, and it worked. My medium foot, who'd screwed up against the samurai the day before, just completely obliterated Hubert's exactly the same medium foot.
So pure Russian Second World War theory.
Absolutely, Russian Second World War.
Line 1 go advance. When line 1's gone, line 2 advance.
Yeah. But even there were so many combats. If you're rolling a lot of dice, you get lucky sometime. And I think the psychological blow that did it about halfway through, that kind of put Hubert on the "this isn't going to work" thing, was when 2 of my levy went into his huscarls, who are elite 200 cut weapon, heavy infantry, armoured with support, and beat them both. So my 4-point levy are taking down these troops that must be like 13, 14 points. So that's, once you've got a hole knocked in those.
It's a very short army though. I mean, I was looking at the Vikings with about 27, 28.
I would have done. This was 22, 23. So
he was full fat as skulls.
Super full fat, as full fat as you get. Absolutely super full fat, which is great. So I'd lost 36 out of 38 at the end of that one, and for a total of, I think, here comes Patatas Bravas. That's good. I think I'd lost 174 unit hit points out of my 5 games, which is nearly an average of 35. So even when I won, lost or drew, I was losing 35 out of 38. So quite a lot of action and combat going on, really. Get in there, we'll do that. So final one up, Simon, you're the submarining star of Alicante.
Yeah, so after 2 very tough and well-fought games, managed to end up on 3rd.
Way.
So end up with 4 wins and a loss, and I only lost to Rafa, and only 4 points off breaking him as well. So that was quite impressive. Started off with probably the most terrifying matchup you can have on a Sunday morning after leaving the restaurant that morning. I had Iñaki with his impetuous Tuaregs, and wall-to-wall elite impetuous camels and medium swordsmen who are impetuous as well. So his entire army is furious charge. Managed to win the initiative, so deploy with all the terrain on my side, and basically was able to anchor down with a waterway, hill and enclosed fields, all the bowmen all lined up properly, and decided to risk a flank march as well.
You risked a flank march with the samurai. But the samurai's only it's not big enough to do that.
It's 23 elements on the table, but I've got a small micro command of 3 cavalry, including general, all with bow, and just looking at that wall-to-wall of camels, I couldn't see anywhere to put them, and Iñaki had put his baggage 6 UD away from the table edge. So I thought, good place as any, because trying to make impetuous camels turn around, it's going to burn pips left, right and centre, and just the sheer threat of having a flank march that close to your baggage, he pulled off 4 of the camels and light horse to go deal with that, and meanwhile his army came tearing down. First round of shooting went well, everything dropped. Second round of shooting, killed the light horse in front of the camels. It exploded, then wounding the general behind it and somebody else. So the camels then ultimately charged my samurai, the heavy foot, wounded. Proceeded to kill the general, and out of the 6 or 8 camels who charged in, 4 died on turn 1. And
this was basically you doing bowling alley, but with Tuaregs instead of Skittles.
Yeah, this was payback for the last times Iñaki and I played. He absolutely eviscerated me. The flank march arrived on turn 4, and rather than committing it to the baggage, by this time his other camel general was getting into combat with some medium swordsmen, and by the end of the first turn of the flank march arriving, he had 3 heavy cavalry in his flank, and the general was committed, and the general ultimately had to go into the rough terrain to avoid being flank charged.
Wow.
So that was pretty desperate.
Okay. So you trounced that through terrain, set up flank march, everything went right. Good. which took you into the afternoon game against the boy Saunders that he glossed over so quickly.
Yes. So So Saunders and I had the matchup of the century, and I won the initiative, which you were well unhappy about.
That kind of decided the game.
It did, yeah. Some terrain got moved around, it got redeployed back to the right place, and so it was going to be a very tight and tough game. You know, lots of scary impact and Almogavars, knights, and everything else lined up. There's lots of jiggling and pokering, and a lot of kills. We came down to the final bound, and Saunders was. I was 1 point off breaking.
1 point
off breaking, and the next turn Dave was guaranteed to win because he had an impetuous knight.
Finger.
Oh, here we go.
Mozzarella.
Oh, mozzarella sticks. Right, okay.
Fantastic.
So Saunders was lined up, guaranteed the win because he was charging range from his impetuous knight into my baggage. It all gone horribly wrong.
So tell you what, let's break now, eat some mozzarella sticks, and we'll come back with the conclusion of this after this bit of music.
Con los cuatros batallones que Madrid van defender.
Right, so look, we've got a break in the food. There's been some mozzarella sticks eaten. So Simon, you were just about to tell us the most exciting part of the game. This was right in the end game. You were nearly there.
Yeah.
Final thing, you've nearly lost. You've got 1 point to go.
One point off breaking, guaranteed to die next turn.
Dave, you think you're winning this game?
I had the camp teed up for a charge. I had at least 3 flank attacks. I mean, I'm seriously like a knight running into somebody from the flank who was already damaged. So I think I was looking at maybe 12 points I could take in the final battle.
So the odds,
should I need that extra point?
So the odds are probably, you know, if it's one of those poker things on telly, the thing at the bottom's going like 98%.
Yeah, which does lead me to believe I did make some mistakes.
So Simon,
and
key passer, as we say in Spain.
Get both out.
So we worked out that I needed about 6 points to break Dave's army. We're thinking, there's no way in hell we can do this. So everyone, realising I'm going to break next turn, it's like, oh well, everyone goes in. So, heavy swordsman charge bowman in the open, always enjoyable. Combat's going off everywhere. So
1 point.
1 point. Someone gets shot at. There's another point here.
2 points.
Slowly working it through, and then we get the final 2 big combats where the brilliant general goes into the front rank with the samurai swordsman, bow swordsman. Proceeds to absolutely muller the javelin.
It's my elites. Medium knights.
Oh no, that was later on.
No. You shot my Lightfoot.
Yep.
Which was lucky. You got a point on my mediocre bowman, which was fairly. I'll give you that. Yeah. Your swordsman. Then I think you possibly shot something else. Oh no, you killed my javelin, which is already damaged. I'll give you that. That was fair enough.
But the thing that was the thing that was the most epic was
the cojones of steel.
The cojones.
The Spanish general on his horse with all of his banners, the knight, he's charged in. He's already taken one wound. He'd pursued into some samurai, heavy swordsmen. We've lined it all up. The strategist rolls into front line of combat.
Your strategist goes in.
If I'm going to go, let's go properly.
Go big. Yeah.
What can possibly
go wrong? 6-1's the general, effectively. Kills it straight away. Yeah, because turn a chopper over that general in the front rank, elite.
It's my competent general. Which everybody's going about. Oh, why have you got a competent general included? But there is a reason to it. But that extra 2 points made it.
And the Spanish break.
And you suffered no extra casualties.
Not a single casualty.
Not a single one. Oh, brilliant.
The general was the deciding blow.
So as we always do, when in doubt, go in, go hard, or go home.
If my general has survived, all I have to do is go knight into camp, start rallying everybody else.
Sorted. All done.
It was a cracking game. There was brutal. Everything was involved.
And what happened as a result of that?
So the grand result was I managed to place 3rd, which is very impressive because in some ways I was envisaging coming up as mid-table mediocrity. and to get four big wins and a loss, but only to Rafa, well happy. And got a really cool trophy of 2 Arabs here and duking it out. So
result,
which is even better, as I've now got an Arab army at home to paint up.
Is Samurai now your new favourite thing? Your new favourite toy?
They have redeemed themselves after the Rome World competition, where we spent half the competition in the naughty room. So
exiled.
Yes.
Samurai's really come on leaps and bounds in version 4. It's become really viable, hasn't it?
The 2 key changes have been losing the compulsory mediocre spearman, the ability to have light foot, and I think the other change that may have been done is that you can now have the strategist with light horse, but I think before it was a either or, and now all of a sudden you can get an army of 22 with an initiative of 3.
Yeah. But the medium swordsman bow have lost the +1
You lose
saving bow, which you'd think would go push it the other way, but the list design changes improve.
Yeah.
So
I suppose if you win, it doesn't really matter, does it? You don't need that
I
+1.
think it's also helped by the changes, but if you break through and they start hitting on the side, with the changes with the flank attacks, it's a big difference. Doing the shooting and doing that breakthrough and get the hole really makes a difference now.
It does.
No, that's good. Well, yes, please, Richard.
It's nice that there's, in a medieval period where we've all sat and said, you need to take knights, you need to take elephants. There's now an alternative of medium bowmen, which really does, it's dependent on winning the initiative and things like that, but it really does vary the game up a lot.
They still don't like losing to anything that has furious charge, though.
I mean,
when I lost, I was just taking bases off easy. I'll take that one away. I'll take that away. I'll take that away.
I mean, looking at the list, the final standing, I think it's getting down to either 12th or 13th for the 2 feudal French that you actually have an army being repeated. So, you've got start up from Sicily, Jisenshen, Samurai, Tafia, Burmese with 1 or 2 dodgy elephants, sneaking in 1 point above the almighty feudal Germans. Then you've got the Byzantines, Korean. I didn't even see the Koreans. Some feudal Spanish. I don't know why they got knocked down so far. It must have been the last game
feudal
they played.
Spanish down.
After winning warfare, if I'd just taken 1 extra point at some point in the game, I would have got that trophy that Simon's got, which would have been my 2nd time in a row that my feudal Spanish have taken 3rd place.
That's the moment for us to raise a glass to Simon and say, well done. We'll reconvene there. Cheers. Thank you.
Con los 4 batallones que Madrid van defender.
Well, look, we're back in a coffee shop in London. What about that, boys and girls?
We're back.
Chiswick, here we are.
Chiswick, here we are, Rhythm and Brews. And I don't feel too bad, actually, after a weekend of gaming, which is quite good. Yeah, it's been quite civilised. I think it's been, I don't know about you, but I feel the games have been the best part of it, which isn't to say the rest of it's not been good.
Flat white.
Oh, brilliant. That's me, please. Yeah, thank you.
And then I have a mocha.
Oh, yes, please. Thank you.
Mocha boy.
And then I think there's an espresso coming as well.
Brilliant, thank you. And, so I've 5 interesting games with an army that I thought was possibly going to be a bit of a novelty, and either might have been rubbish or might have been good. It's actually been neither of them. It's been just a sensible, interesting, different army to play with, which I'm slightly surprised at. It's been challenging.
I guess it's, compared to your normal armies or your hoplites, all in mediocre spin or whatever, to bring that many levy and all that definitely makes you rethink how you're going to play an army and go, how can I not lose with this and how can I possibly win with it?
The fact that you can put 38 units on table in a game that is normally about 22, 23.
Have the espresso. Enjoy.
That's espresso, isn't it?
It's fun playing with those armies because it's a challenge to play.
Yeah.
So you're always playing against your army alone, trying to manage the damn thing.
Yeah.
Get it to do anything at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's, once you get over that fear factor of using an impetuous
but sometimes though, when you get some other systems, when you get too many units, the system starts to break.
Yeah.
I think but the fact, like I say, we put 38 on the table, and it wasn't unbeatable through the mass at all. It was very close to breaking in all 5 games. But it wasn't achieving something by just by sheer numbers. Like in in fog there was a real advantage to having 16, 17 units because it made the army almost unbreakable, and it gave you more opportunities to hit flanks. But the command and control in this just makes it really hard to do anything with that many.
I think it's one of the advantages of going back to the old PIP system.
GPM system.
Yeah, you can have a massive army, but your command and control is so low. If you're rolling one or two, if you pick every turn, you only really wanted 2 elements. Where in Fog and Fog R, because there was no command and control, even if all your generals did, you could still maneuver
everything anyway.
And so if you had 24 elements or units, you could cause unknown amount of terror just because everything was
available.
It was going to move.
Yeah. So I was really chuffed with it. It was good.
Chinese armies in the first top 5. I mean, I know.
Yeah, there was different armies in the entire top 10. Everyone, and it wasn't just knights. Well, no, one knight army first, but it wasn't knights all the way. Was it?
No, because Rapper won, and there was the Yurchin Chin guy that I lost to in the first game. It was quite a good army. And there was a Sui Tang thing. Fourth.
Yeah.
Samurai.
She was third. Yeah. Samurai doing well, which is grand.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was quite nice actually looking through the ranks of riders. The usual suspects that we've seen last few years, none of them were in the top 10, like the usual Gats, the Beds, and all those.
Yeah,
they were
Elephants are taking a smacking.
Which is I think
but they were too much of a go-to, weren't they, in version 3? You kind of right. I've got elephants, and when you were playing them, there wasn't really an answer to them. If we're honest,
no, it wasn't.
There was 5 or 6 Gazan armies.
But having elephants pursue makes a real difference. It really balances them out. They're still scary, but they're not. They're not like I've just got to feed something to this and it will die. Scary.
Lightfoot having his own control on the elephant.
That makes a big difference as well.
Yeah. I still think there's a definite place for it.
Yeah.
I'm always tempted to go back and give it a go just to.
Oh God, yeah! I'm painting up a couple of armoured elephants at the moment, so they'll definitely get on table.
I went through a lean patch last year for about. I mean, I paint a lot, and I went through 3 or 4 months where I thought I can't face painting.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way I do it. Is I have a break, and I've really got my painting mojo back. And I'm sitting this weekend, I'm thinking, ooh, I really want a Yurchin Chin on.
Yeah. Actually, the lists I've played, all of them, I've thought that's interesting. I can work with that and come up with some different ideas for different play styles. Hubert's Viking army is very different to how I would have put an army together, but it worked, and it combined with terrain and stuff, and it was good.
Viking, I think, there's some great figures there. From your,
I've got some great Vikings already, but I've got all the options. I just never really put them on table. But there's interesting ways of doing it other than the way I thought, which is kind of cool.
I think one of the things is the mass night. I mean, I know Rappers won with 10 or 12 nights or something like that.
He didn't have that night many. He only had 6 or maybe 8.
Yeah.
I think it was 3-3 and some more than another one.
And then it was 3 and 3. Because his small command, the one I was chasing around the table with, was just the mixed swordsman, the heavy spearman, crossbowman.
Okay. So he only had 6.
Yeah.
That's good.
Because he had the 4 Mugavars and a couple of the knights, so he had a very small very small knight command. Dropped that down. Then the Mugavar and the other knight command.
Oh, he had some mixed bows.
And then he had the mixed heavy spear and all that. And that was army. So it wasn't a.
So it was kicking out quite a bit of shooting then as well.
Yeah.
It wasn't too
but
it wasn't like Peter's full badger effect of I'll have all the knights and then I build the rest of them around it. It was quite balanced. I was very surprised with it.
Because I played a feudal English army with a lot of knights and a feudal French army with a lot of knights.
I didn't face a single knight.
Picked them apart really quite easily.
I have more knights than my opponents. Well, I didn't face a single opponent with knights all weekend, which is bizarre.
Yeah.
And my 4 should have been kings of the battlefield if I'd actually used them in the first 3 games.
Heavy foot are really good now. Heavy foot is that initial movement of 3 and things like that.
That heavy foot
brings them into game. And a mixture of heavy foot with other things.
It doesn't,
really works well now.
but it doesn't come in after about turn 2 at all. No. I don't think I saw almost any opportunities to use it after turn 2.
I think what it really seems to do is it stops that first half an hour of faffing around where you move a little bit and your opponent moves it around, and then you move a little bit more, and then about after the first hour, then things start happening. Now it's with a decent command structure, you can have a majority of your heavy foot army in line with your knights, and things are kicking off. And
I think it's also made using terrain more important, because it's that heavy foot moves in is in clear terrain.
Yeah, and like
so you drop some terrain around, or you put an ambush in it, or you stick some light foot in it. That does really slow them down an enormous amount. And then you've got to contest.
And also,
terrain.
I was thinking, like, with when you played Hubert, he tore across the table. So I think you guys were in combat by round 2.
Round 2, yeah.
And in one of my games, I was in the same position. Like round 2, we're already in melee, and you're thinking, in version 3, it was almost impossible to be in combat with anything other than maybe a light horse.
It's also what's really important, I think, with it is that this is something I found with my army, is that you've got that initial thing, the heavy foot can move at the same speed as the medium foot, group together, which means you'd use less pips, and you can race together. Whereas before you would split up and go, right, I want to get the bowman across the table quick, and the spear is just left behind, which that defeats their effectiveness.
And you
as well,
and you were spending more points to move them as separate groups.
Because quite often what I used to do is I'd have to move my heavy spearmen or whoever, they would get the double pips first, because they can move at least 4 UD, and then you move the
and you're still getting to the same place you would have done, but you're just getting there a turn earlier, which gives you another turn to fight, doesn't it, before you run out of time. It's like the terrain system, really. The terrain system is so simple, but all it's doing is saying, right, this needs to generate some interesting, not utterly stereotyped terrain that then will make the game more interesting. It's
the terrain in version 4's something, I'm not quite sure what it is, but where we played before, if you won the initiative, you'd actually try to win the initiative, so you'd get the first move in. And then you saw the opponent's army set up, and you could adjust your scissors, paper, stone to where his things are. But now, as the samurai show, you sit there and go, actually, I'll choose to defend. And that means I get to move the terrain around more to my benefit. And I think that's because, in the past, coming from Fog, we went, right, this is my knight command, this is my infantry command, this is my medium foot command. Now, I know from my point of view, I'm mixing up, one of my most
There's 2 commands in each one, isn't there?
One of my commands is 2 crossbow, 2 heavy foot, spear, 1 outnigger bar, and 2 light foot, and I would never have played like that.
No, it can do different things.
A year ago, 2 years ago.
You were saying about the train as well. I think it's the subtle changes they've made of if you get 3 pieces of train on your side, the next bit of train
goes the other way.
There's no negotiation. If
you're trying to max out terrain, that's just better, isn't it? You can't be as unlucky.
And also, when you're rolling for your train, if the train lands in a sector that you couldn't fit it,
you have another go.
You get another go. So for those armies that are a bit more train dependent, there's actually a chance in the heck of them getting something on the table. And that makes some of those medium foot armies, which in V3 just got stomped over.
And actually, there's more strategists, and the value of the strategist in moving the train is bigger. So that's good.
Because back in V3, you would very rarely see a strategist.
You choose not to have them.
Because it's like, why would I spend 10 points? I'd rather have a knight. Now it's a lot of armies that are more dependent that way. You have the strategists and you build your army around that design.
I'll put down 5 bits of terrain out, defend and move 1. That's still worth it.
That's very powerful,
still worth it.
But I think suffering thing, cavalry bow armies still, I think, has suffered a bit.
A little bit.
But then I think they need to be combined. You need foot bowmen with mounted bowmen. Because that's where you kick out the extra
I found that those half bow impact cavalry, because the shooting's mediocre, they're actually impact cavalry with a bit extra. They're a different troop type, aren't they? They're not a magic troop type.
No, they just got 2 bowmen with them.
That's a lot.
Who are shooting at a mounted, and then you add on an extra one, because then it's mediocre, doesn't count.
Who can then charge them.
Then you really are knocking things down, and that's where mounted bow needs to have foot with them. You can't just, I've been, one day comes in and showed it was Scythians, and I had 2 bowmen. Now I would go back to using a Scythian army and take all 4 of the foot bowmen.
The army's big enough to absorb the fact that
But
they
also,
get run over as well.
But in some ways, it also makes a lot more historical sense. Is that the foot could kick out the more volume, the nobility would be there pinking, and as soon as they could, they go in, rather than they would do all the hard work. And the foot sit there, go, well, we're doing nothing. So it's good to see the tactics and the ideas you have in your head actually make a lot more sense now and change again.
My Spanish army, I definitely think, instead of having 6 knights together, I would rather have 4 knights and 2 crossbowmen. Because you want the crossbowman to knock down the opposing person's knights and things, and then you go in on them. So that makes a big difference at all.
Well, I guess it's a good weekend. I don't feel too wrecked on it, which is unusual as well. We got back on EasyJet, which is fine. Got back into the country.
Yeah, we had the QR code, the vaccine passport, we had the passenger locator form, we had everything.
And next one's Beachhead. Bournemouth.
Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Forward to that.
Yeah, another seaside town in the depths of winter. So, well, hopefully the audio's been all right on this one, and we will see you in some other podcasty way.
This could be the new Romantics podcast.
This could be the Romantics one, a bit of Duran Duran in the background. Yes. Durran, background noise. But hopefully it's not too much, and hopefully you're not Duran Duran phobic. On that note, we'll love you and leave you. Goodbye.
See ya.
Bye.